Many people learning English hate contractions, which is understandable because learning contractions is a pain in the butt. Contractions can be hard to understand and they can feel really weird to say as you're learning English. And the absolute worst is trying to understand the difference between can and can't in American English.
Don't you tell me what I can or can't do. Don't you tell me what I can or can't do.
But I hope that this video today will, number one, convince you that contractions are actually really important for helping you feel relaxed and comfortable and confident and like yourself in English. In your first language, you probably feel relaxed and confident most of the time, I hope. I want to make speaking English feel comfortable for you because English is your language if you want it to be. And number two, my other main goal for this video is that you leave with a clear understanding of the pronunciation of can and can't in American English. We say these words a million times a day, and the pronunciation for them is absolutely ridiculous.
Can or can't do.
I am so sorry in advance. So please stay with me and let me clear everything up for you. We're going to talk about 3 things in this video for all of this to make sense. Starting with the very, very crazy dropped T's. Yes, dropping T sounds. Oh man, you guys. Okay. First, please just listen to me as I say these phrases. I'm going to say them really naturally and kind of quickly. I'm going to say them how I would normally say them in everyday life. And all I want you to do is listen to what I'm saying and notice how what I say and what you're reading are different. Because as you may know, spoken English and written English are 2 completely different systems. They're almost not the same language. I mean, they are the same language, but they're very, very different. So just listen and tell me what difference you hear between spoken and written English here. As usual, I have a cold because I have a child, and when you have a child, you are sick all the time. Number 1, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that.
Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Seriously, it's don't eat that. Don't eat that. Seriously, it's don't eat that. Don't eat that. Seriously, it's...
Number 2, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave.
Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave.
Number 3, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. He didn't do it.
If he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. If he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. If he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. If he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it.
Number 4, I didn't eat it. Didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. Didn't eat it. I didn't eat it.
I didn't eat chocolate. I didn't eat chocolate. I didn't eat chocolate.
Number 5, you shouldn't ask. You shouldn't ask. Shouldn't ask. You shouldn't ask.
I shouldn't ask so many questions. I shouldn't ask so many questions. I shouldn't ask so many questions.
Number 6, I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. Couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it.
And I couldn't hear, so I couldn't hear, so I couldn't hear, so I.
Number 7, she wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it. Wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it.
If I told you, you wouldn't like it. If I told you, you wouldn't like it. If I told you, you wouldn't like it.
I wouldn't say I was a planner. I wouldn't say I was a planner. I wouldn't say I was a planner. I wouldn't say I was a planner.
So in fast, natural, relaxed, everyday spoken English, an NT sound in a word will often lose the T, so it will just sound like an N at the end. As in Aunt Kim. Aunt Kim. This is my Aunt Kim. This is my Aunt Kim. We can't hear a T, really, in this. Hi, Aunt Kim. Hi, Aunt Kim. The T sound is dropped. Or I guess more precisely, the T sound is held. It's not released. Normally, I guess, what you would expect a T to sound like is t, t, a release of air. T, t. But in natural spoken English, with NT, it will sound like a held T. Aunt, aunt, not Aunt Kim. We don't really say this in natural English. We say Aunt Kim, Aunt Kim, Aunt Kim. A held T sound, an unreleased T sound. A stop T. In natural, relaxed, everyday English, you won't really hear I don't eat. I don't eat. Instead, you'll hear I don't eat. I don't eat. I don't eat. With the T sound dropped or held and the N just going into the vowel eat. I don't eat. I don't eat. And in that example, the T at the end of eat is also held. I don't eat. We just love to hold or drop our T's, which can be very annoying and confusing for people who are learning English, I know. But when you start to become aware of this, you'll suddenly hear it everywhere. I typed up all of my notes for this video, so you don't have to take notes yourself. I also created some free practice exercises for you guys. You can get that document from the link down below. So yes, T dropping is something that happens in English in many, many different cases. It's kind of a complex subject. But today I want to focus on T's being dropped from negative contractions specifically. That NT losing its T and just being an N sound. Don't just take my word for it. We're going to listen to some other examples right now. Notice how you can't really hear the T sound or the T version of the T sound.
You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything.
Didn't talk, didn't eat, didn't come out for 8 days. Didn't talk, didn't eat, didn't come out for 8 days. Didn't talk, didn't eat, didn't come out for 8 days.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't.
And don't worry, we're going to get to can versus can't in just a moment. Really quickly, take a moment for yourself right now where you're sitting to repeat after me and try to drop all of the T sounds. You will see in my examples here that all of the most stressed, all of the strongest parts of the sentences are in all capital letters. So try to say those parts the strongest, the most forcefully. Repeat after me. 1, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Good job. Number 2, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Good job. Number 3, he didn't do it. 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 Good job. Number 4, I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. Nice. Number 5, you shouldn't ask. You shouldn't ask. You shouldn't ask. You shouldn't ask. Sweet. Number 6, I couldn't hear it. 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 I'm trying to say it as naturally as possible. Sometimes I sort of drop the H sound and sometimes I don't. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. Give it a try in the way that feels most natural for you. I couldn't hear it. Nice. She wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it. She wouldn't say it. Fabulous. Nice work. How did that feel? Good? Weird? Let me know in the comments. Another thing we should quickly practice for a smoother sound is how NT changes when it's right before a K sound or a G sound. So a K sound or a G sound. NT sound at the end of a word plus a G sound or plus a K sound will often become a sound in natural, relaxed, fast spoken English. The sound is the sound at the end of the word song. Song. It's a very nasal sound. Sing, song. You can really feel it in your nose. For example, can't go in naturally spoken English will sound like can go, can go, can go. The T sound dropped and the blended sound like a I can't go, I can't go, I can go, I can't go. Can't cook will sound like can't cook, can't cook. I can't cook, I can't cook. Practice with me. I can't go, I can't go, I can't go, I can't cook, I can't cook. Of course, there's a problem here, which you've probably noticed. If can't go loses the T sound and can't cook loses the T sound, how can you tell the difference between can't go and can go, can't cook and can cook? Don't they sound exactly the same?
So Marshall can't go to Italy? 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 Can't go to Italy?
We next need to talk about strong forms versus weak forms of words. Many of the most common words in English actually have two different pronunciations, two different forms, two ways to pronounce the same exact word. And usually in school, we only learn one way to pronounce these words. Unfortunately, there are many reasons for this. One of the reasons is that a lot of native speakers are not aware how much they are changing the pronunciation of these words in natural spoken English. Native speakers don't even know that they're doing this most of the time. So for example, the word can, one of the most common words in English, has two different pronunciations. It can be pronounced the strong way, which is can, I can, you can, yes we can.
Yes, we did. Yes, we can.
Or it can be pronounced in its weak form. Can.
I can make it. I can make it. I can make it.
I can go. I can go. I can go.
Can.
I can do that. I can do that. I can do that.
Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it.
Well, she is a grown-up. She can finish her own fingernails. She can finish her own fingernails. She can finish her own fingernails. She can finish her own fingernails.
Sometimes it's so weak that you almost can't hear it at all.
I love that I can be totally neurotic around you now. I love that I can be totally neurotic around you now. I love that I can be totally neurotic around you now. I love that I can be totally neurotic.
So this is actually a great way to hear the difference, to tell the difference between the words can and can't. Because can in quick spoken English is usually pronounced in its weak form, can. And can't is never pronounced in its weak form. It will always be can't with either a released T, can't, or with that dropped held T, can't. But still, we have a problem because sometimes can is not pronounced in its weak form. And so they both sound very similar to each other. Okay, so at this point, there will probably be some Americans who are going to disagree with me. I believe that American English is very, very crazy to have this situation where such important words, can and can't, sound so similar to each other.
You don't have anyone in your house telling you what you can or can't do. You don't have anyone in your house telling you what you can or can't do. Can or can't do.
Where you can or can't send those boys to school. Can or can't send those.
A lot of Americans will tell you that it's very easy for them to tell the difference between can and can't, but I disagree. I think that Americans rely a lot on context, on nonverbals, and on clarifying the information. Did you say can or can't? Can't? Can? I think that we rely on these three things a lot because the language, the difference is just not that clear in American English. In other languages, this is not a problem. In French and Spanish, the difference between can and can't are very clear. And in other dialects of English, it's not a problem. For example, in British English, can and can't sound different from each other, significantly different.
You can, can't you? You can, can't you? You can, can't you? You can, can't you?
Let me know how to say can and can't in your language in the comments down below, and tell me if it's easy or hard to tell the difference between these two words. Can and can't are so similar to each other that even native speakers often have to ask each other for clarification.
Why am I in Missoula? Why am I here?
It's a secret.
Is it? Can I not say?
No, you can say.
I can or I can't?
You can.
You'll notice in that clip that those two men were not looking at each other.
Why am I in Missoula? Why am I here?
It's a secret.
Is it? Can I not say?
No, you can say.
I can or I can't?
You can.
If we are looking at each other, if we are looking at the person who is speaking, we can rely on nonverbals like nodding. I can go. I can't go. Or often the context of the sentence gives us the clues that we need to be able to know if it's can or can't. But sometimes we don't have the context, or we're not sure about the context. We can't see the other person, so we can't see a little nod or head shake. And so what do? We ask for clarification. Many native speakers ask for clarification. Can or can't? Did you say can't? Can't? You can go? You can? We do this all the time. So if you're not sure, don't worry about it. It's okay to ask for clarification. And you can do that by simply saying, I'm sorry, did you say can or can't? Did you say can or can't? Sorry, did you say can't? Cannot? Perfectly acceptable to say this. Of course, if you're watching a series or a video, you don't always have the option to ask for clarification, so you may have to rely on the subtitles, but hopefully the context clues, the nonverbals, will give you the information you need to be able to tell the difference between can and can't. I teach a lot more about how to understand fast, naturally spoken English in this video here, so make sure you watch that one next. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.